Tonight at Electric Factory in Philadelphia, it is a band that has no trouble rocking, some trouble with spacing, but no trouble rocking. It's Need to Breathe and Bear hanging out with me a little bit before. Hey man, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Why is the space bar broken on the Need to Breathe computer? Is that the problem?
No, it's my brother's brain is broken. No, he's when we first started the band, he wanted it to look that way, art for some T-shirt or something like that.
Okay.
We had a manager at the time who was like, "Well, if you're going to do it this way, it has to be this way." And it's stuck ever since. And,
yeah,
and it's cool because it actually looks bigger. It's all in caps too. So
right.
even if you're the bottom band on a festival, you look like the biggest.
Yeah, I don't talk about fonts that often with bands, but it's Need to Breathe, but it reads like Need to Breathe, yeah. Really quick. And then the new album, Hard Love, is Hard Love, but it's like Hard Love because you put all kinds of spaces in there too.
That was also my brother's idea.
Okay,
I'd like to throw that
cool.
off.
We'll have to have like a graphic design fireside chat here later on. Congratulations on the new album and the tour. Seems like everything's been going really well for Need to Breathe right now.
It is. The record's been received really well, and which is cool. You never know when you're putting a record out,
right.
and then to extend it to the tour has been amazing. The biggest shows we've ever played, and the biggest tour we brought out, and probably the most fun we're having.
Yeah.
I think we've been around for a little while, but we're really feel appreciative for our fans right now.
I've heard that because this album, I mean, production-wise and everything, it feels and sounds bigger. And it from what I've read, is that this tour has been kind of the same as like, hey, we got this big like bombastic album. Let's go out there and do it right and put on a big show.
I think it goes back to me. The record is a fun record. It's a happy record. We have not made many of those records, and,
right.
and we felt like we needed to take advantage of it when we did. I feel like we're always asking the fans to dance a lot and have a good time at a show. Sometimes we don't play that kind of music, so this was the chance to do that. Like put a bunch of lights up there, extra singers, really just make it an experience for people, and make it kind of feel like a festival a little bit. I feel like especially having so many bands with us on this tour.
Yeah, and like a lot of friends on this tour too.
Yeah, it's it kind of has that. That's the idea. It's like a little bit traveling circus sort of vibe.
Right. When you talked about it being a happy record, I mean, there has been, issues in the past where you guys had, there was fighting within the band and, like, we're worried about, like, does this go on? And now everyone's kind of regrouped. Does it feel better to, I imagine it does, now that everyone feels like, is everyone on the same page? Everyone's happy and jamming along and Need to Breathe these days?
I think we are, yeah. I think, it's definitely a drastic difference. I wouldn't recognize myself if I saw us, 3 or 4 years ago.
Really? Do you look back on that, like some of the things that happened when, oh, man, that was a bummer.
I can't envision. I used to be a pretty intense guy when things didn't go my way,
right.
and I used to throw guitars and wreck the dressing rooms and all that. And it's like I can't relate to that guy anymore. I really enjoy what we do and I really take it seriously. But in the end of the day, it's just like this is what we do. It's not who I am,
right?
And so I think everybody has that. It's taking the edge off things we do, so we can absorb the hits a little bit better.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have some bad nights. Stuff's not gonna go the right way.
Well, when you look back on that, was it? Because it's you and your brother, does that stem from something sibling, or it's just the place where you were at that time, and you just need to get your head right with things?
I think all of us were a little bit messed up in terms of what we wanted for our career, and we started thinking about our careers and what we did in the band more than we did each other, And I think that's sour regardless. And we were the brothers were definitely the quickest thing to blow up.
Sure.
And for obvious reasons, we were writing songs together and trying to create together. And we would come on the road and literally be in different dressing rooms, never talk to each other. And
really?
It was bad. So, it changed a lot. Having gone through that, I feel like our creativity is back in a way. I think we're allowed to care more because we don't feel like I'm going to upset somebody if I just have an opinion.
I don't want to dwell on it because there's new awesome stuff going on, but I had read a story that at one point, like, it got so bad there was a fight that someone was in the hospital. Who was in the hospital?
That's true. We're not really talking about who was in the hospital. That's like somewhere we can't go. But,
okay.
But no, it was true that, like, just had a major fight in the end of a bunch of small ones along the way. And it really could have been any of us in the hospital, to be honest with you. At the time, we just were a little bit of a wreck. It was chaos. And we had to go home for a while and rethink if we wanted to do this anymore. It took a while, I think, for all of us to quit blaming each other and try to look at maybe we had something to do with it personally, And so some time apart and some time off gave us that perspective. And then when we got back together, we were like, if we're going to do this is the way it has to be. We've got to care about each other more. And we went to everybody who worked for us and told them the same thing. And it's like, look, we're going to have to tour a little bit less. We're going to be smarter about what we do. We can't just, like, run our families ragged and ourselves, and,
Sure.
and you know, it's made it more fun.
The other thing is, like, since you guys kind of refocused on everything and have kind of had a happier vibe, the successes come with it too, which is interesting. That, like, you know, Need to Breathe is doing bigger and better than ever, which has got to be a cool feeling that, like, you get your head right and, like, okay, things go well now.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, it's hard to create anything good when you're, you know, not talking to each other.
Yeah, especially for a long amount of time. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been like 10 years with this band now.
Yeah, and when we first got together, obviously we started very small town, and we
Right.
were like a garage band if there ever was one. And so I feel like we have that spirit back, and that's, I think, what people have related to us, you know, over the years. It's been with our honesty and vulnerability, and the idea that none of us could be solo artists, or none of us are that good apart from each other. You know,
Right.
it's like the sum of all the parts.
The collective that makes it so good. The other thing with Need to Breathe is there's always been, and I think it's gotten less and less the more success that you guys have had, but the idea of it being like a Christian rock band. What does that even mean in 2016? That title and that association, what does that mean to you in 2016?
Yeah, it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Right.
To me, you know, we never saw ourselves as a Christian band, so we were like, you know, it used to bother us a lot more than it does now.
How did that even start then? What's the correlation?
You know, there's no doubt that we talk about our faith in our songs a lot.
Sure.
And there's no doubt that, you know, the Christian market world, whatever that is, has embraced us, which we're really proud of. And but at the same time, like when we first started, we were like really, you know, just scared of being pigeonholed in that way, you know.
Yeah, I imagine.
And of course it's happened at times, and of course, but the thing is, like with our fans, I think they know we're not making music just for Christians, you know.
Sure.
So hopefully that's probably the worst thing that could ever happen, is if you're making music and people don't think it's for them for some reason. I think something that's important to us, you know, probably regardless of what our faith was, is just we grew up with music that we really had to rely on.
Yeah.
You know, that's the stuff that we loved, was this music that was written out of a place of like somewhere serious and had a lot of soul to it. And I think we write songs like that and appreciate that part of music. And I hope that every artist does that.
It's Need to Breathe or Need to Breathe, depending on how you want to read it. Bear, thanks so much for the time, man. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.